Hello and welcome. We're going to talk about Flipper Zero alternatives today, and it's been brought to my attention a few times that there are many other very interesting devices that you can buy really cheap and have multiple or different devices dedicated to one thing. So let's take a look at it in this video right now. So the Flipper Zero itself, as we see it right here, is a multi-tool device for geeks. I want to be honest with you guys, right? The Flipper Zero mostly is used for pranking. And I understand it's fun to turn off televisions, it's fun to read some, infrared signal and then, do something with it, or maybe shut off a screen at McDonald's and so on. But let's be realistic right now. No one is hacking anything right now. It's just, it's just a prank. So I want to bring these pranks ahead one more time and say there are other alternatives that can do more than pranking, easier. I want to say that even though that I only mentioned pranks, the Flipper Zero itself can also do stuff that is kinda like hacking, and I would really like to talk about different kind of alternatives to the Flipper Zero because it can be quite pricey. So this is the web page flipperzero.1. You can go ahead and check it out and press buy, and you can buy the Flipper Zero for any amount of 165 euros in this particular case. You can also change it to another country and see your own currency. I'm going to stick to euro for now because, well, then you can just calculate back to USD or whatever you would like to do. There are different kind of add-ons, Wi-Fi, prototype boarding, video game modules, screen protectors, and a silicone case you can go ahead and buy for this. And I'm pretty sure you can go ahead and buy more different kind of things for it. And if you want to develop stuff, there's also the room for that. One of the upsides for Flipper Zero is that it's open source, and you can go ahead and download your own, customized firmware, which is really, really nice. So I want to bring forth to you the very first unit we're going to talk about, and that's going to be the M5. I've already opened up a web page with that to show you this is how you can get the M5. I even have it right here as a collection of mine, and the M5 itself is just a small circuit board with a battery and a screen where you can burn, customized software on it. Let's just first take a look at what this actually is and just press on one of the buttons. So it calls a adaptable compatible blah 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 micro IoT development kit, which is really nice, and you get this small unit, and there are different kinds of them. Mine is the C plus 1.1. I don't know if you can see that here. Yes, but it doesn't really matter. I just bought it literally, got it last week, so it's pretty new. And you can go ahead and burn on some very interesting, firmware on it. So let's go and say M5 Nemo. I think that is the GitHub repository. I'm going to link everything in the description below, so you can just go ahead and check it out right there. So basically, I'm going to teach you guys how to do all these kind of things. Alright, so the M5 Nemo itself, you can go ahead and burn on the firmware for high-tech pranks. And the things you can do is, I think there's a list down here below. It's one here called TV Be Gone. So that is basically a way for you to turn off stuff that receives infrared signals, and you can choose from a variety of different kind of TVs. Well, it's actually a list going through. Also something called Apple Juice, where you can prank, pairing spam on the phone. I think there's also something that can crash the iPhone itself, and Wi-Fi spam. So it also got this funny SSID and Rickrolling and random notes and stuff like that. You can also create a Nemo portal, which is kind of actually what you call the evil portal. So this small device right here, right, that can actually do what we need it to do. It could create an evil portal and it's gonna present you with some sort of small web page where there will be prompted to log in, and those credentials most likely can be used and just be saved on the unit. You can go ahead and look at them. Also got some Wi-Fi SSID scanner, you know, only 2.4 gigahertz, but you know, it's fine. Also have a clock, you know, who cares? And of course some battery stuff and so on. The stick itself is with custom firmware, and there's a description on how to use it right here. If you want to go ahead and install this, you need to install the M5 burner. And the M5 burner, I think, let me just click this link right here. I think going through it all, you know, it's going to download some sort of program looking like that. Yeah, the M5 burner right here for Windows, Mac OS X, and the Linux. And then you're going to go ahead and just basically follow the guide. That is how the program looks. Pick the one called stick, and now you're going to make sure that this is pretty important for you right now. If you're going to install the firmware here from the M5, you can search it up in the search bar. You need to download or anything. You need to clone the repo. Basically, just connect the M5 small unit to USB-C, and that's really it. And then you're good to go. And go ahead and search for Nemo. And then make sure whether it's a plus or not a plus unit, and pick the right one. It's not gonna work if you have a non-plus or you have a plus unit. You know, it's a 30-second wait, and you're gonna find out, oh, it didn't work. Then you're gonna pick another one, and then it works. Pretty easy installation. So you first of all you download it, and then you're able to burn it, and the unit, and that's really, it's gonna be presented that way. And the COM in my computer is gonna be COM1 or COM5. Which basically gonna be either of them, you know, one of them means sorry, so mine was COM5, but you know, you're gonna find out. It's pretty easy, it's good to go. And when that is done, you have the M5 Nemo unit ready to be used, and it's, you know, a beautiful small device. I would love to show a video with the unit itself. But for now, I'm basically just gonna tell you that this unit itself can do all the things that we mentioned just below, and that is actually many of the things that people use for pranks on the Flipper Zero. This unit does not have any reading of cards and stuff like that, which is why we're gonna put this on a pretty good, you know, level up against the Flipper Zero as a pretty good alternative. So I must say, I think that's really good. So the next one we're gonna go ahead and talk about will be the Crazy Radio from BitCraze. The Crazy Radio itself is a small unit you can go ahead and buy. I cannot zoom on it. I actually have it right here as well. It's not unpacked, so at some point in time I'm gonna take this Crazy Radio. It's a small thing, you know, as you can see in my hand. It's pretty small. Not that interesting to look at, but it's a small, you know, circuit board with an antenna that potentially can read for like up to 1 kilometer. That is the crazy things, guys. 1 kilometer is a pretty powerful amplified small board where you can put software on it. What you can do with this kind of thing, for example, mouse jacking or keyboard jacking. So that's basically where you have a wireless keyboard or wireless mouse, and then you know, use it, and the Crazy Radio just take it over and you execute raw commands on the Windows computer. I'm not sure if it works on, you know, Mac or Linux. I think it has to be Windows. Not 100% sure. I haven't created the project now, but I'm gonna create the project at some point and post it for you guys, so you can see how it works and everything. I'm also gonna post some links down below in the description on different kind of places you can look to get an idea on how to start with the Crazy Radio. Okay, so we talked about two different things already, and we're already covering, I would say, most of the things that the Flipper Zero also can do. It can also do jacking, but it's a bit more, it doesn't have the same distance. This is the actual, you know, pro radio you need. So that is the thing you should definitely buy if you want to sit like 500 meters away and you know, mouse jack and, you know, capture people's computers. Basically, take over a computer. You own it. This is what the Crazy Radio can do. It's quite dangerous. All right. The third thing we're going to talk about is just, of course, going to be the Raspberry Pi. I'm not gonna show you a Raspberry Pi because you know I have a lot of them, but the Raspberry Pi itself is basically a small computer. You know, it is basically whatever you're gonna make it. You know, if you wanna get like a 5G and 2.4 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz and 2.4 gigahertz antenna, you have one right here. It's an alpha card, and basically it costs nothing. And with this, you know, you can you can go ahead and, you know, create the most crazy little computer to capture every 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz signals, radio signals in the air, and do whatever you would like to do with it, because this supports monitor mode, or you're gonna call it promiscuous mode, and it's just beautiful. You can also connect the old trusty alpha card with only 2.4 gigahertz, which is also what most Wi-Fi access points actually serve these days, but there are many different kind of things. The beauty about Raspberry Pi is that you can install basically anything on it, and these days the Raspberry Pi can be bought with an SSD hard disk, and you can basically connect it directly to the Raspberry Pi. And I'm not really sure if the official site here does have the small SSD hard disks that I'm actually just scrolling for. I'm gonna scroll. It doesn't really have it right here, but the newest Raspberry Pi 5, I would definitely go ahead and buy that, and buy an SSD hard drive for it, and you need the SSD hat. Basically, you have a computer that doesn't break down, because these micro SD cards are gonna be a little shaky and not really that well, because they're gonna break down at some point. So maybe you can have it, you know, riding and running for a few hundred times, and then boom, it's gonna break down maybe 30 times or 50 times, maybe even just 2 times. So basically that's gonna create some, you know, barrier for that. The fourth one is gonna be the Deauth Watch. It's you know, when you're gonna look at this, it's a little pricey, but you can go ahead and get the version 1 for $39. You can also go ahead and buy the ESP board yourself as a small board. You know, I have it somewhere in a small bag. It's not right there, no. It's probably, you know, in my bag somewhere. But it's a small board you can go ahead and buy for $4 or $5, and it got a small Wi-Fi chip on it. It got a range of maybe 20 meters or so, and you can go ahead and burn this software directly down on it, and have your own small Deauth. But this watch itself, you're gonna go ahead and check out the products. Go ahead and check out the version 4 right here, or the version 3, which is the one I have. You know, I'm gonna show you the watch I have right here. So whenever you buy the watch, I'm gonna just unpack this. You gotta get it in a box. You know, it doesn't, not that interesting. But the actual watch itself, right there, the version 3 watch, got a range of, I think it's like 200 meters or something like that. I bought it when it was like $99, and it's a pretty fun thing to have. It's definitely better than Flipper Zero, because they have an actual antenna that is sending longer. I think the Flipper Zero could be extended with an antenna to make it even stronger, but this is a dedicated unit, and the dedicated unit probably gonna do a better job. I don't know, probably. You can also go ahead and check out the version 4, which is gonna be the same, just some extra stuff and a battery enhanced stuff. But there are many different things you can go ahead and do. You can also buy the small D-Strike Deauth Monster, which is also something that's gonna be, you know, really easy for you to carry around. And it's the ESP8266 development board that I talked about. You can go ahead and buy. So go to Amazon, for example. This is just the one in Germany. Doesn't really matter. Search it up, and you have it right there. It's like, you know, you get 3 boards here, and you get it for like 18 euros, and that's going to be around 22-ish dollars, I think it is. And then you're going to get 3 of these small units, which have a little Wi-Fi chipped on it, and basically you can go ahead and burn down any kind of software on it. Oh yeah, you probably need to make sure that it says Wi-Fi. This is the one, the second one, sorry, not the first one. So that is the one. I'm gonna link that in the description, of course. So that is the number 3 of those, and I got Wi-Fi. Yes, so it says Wi-Fi on the board somewhere. Not really sure where, but it is a Wi-Fi board. And there are different kind of buttons on it, and it's pretty, you know, neat. You can create many small projects with it, and this is, if that is what you want to do, you can go ahead and get the ESP8266 Wi-Fi board, and you can burn down the actual, software on it. I'm also gonna try and remember to link that in the description below. Yeah. So the fifth one, I think it is, we're coming to right now, is gonna be the classic Arduino board. You're gonna go ahead and buy that, and you're gonna go ahead and buy the Arduino board. You will get a board that you can go ahead and program your own stuff for, which is kind of made for that. It's like a small community you're gonna join, and if this is what you're gonna do, there are loads of kind of different software things you can go and buy. So download for free and just directly, burn down on the chipset on the Arduino board. And you can go and 3D print your own small case and so on. So this is kind of DIY, do it yourself all the way, which is also on the same level like these, ESP8266 boards. But the Arduino, I would consider that as the upper, the bigger brother of the boards. So another prankster device is going to be the IR remote for iPhone. You can go ahead and buy it on AliExpress, for example, just any one IR remote. And that's going to enable you to, I think some of them, we're going to search through. I think this is the one. You can go ahead and basically download an app somewhere, and that app contains a huge list of different kind of software groups for different kind of TVs and stuff like that. So you can take your phone. It would, of course, require this one to be an iPhone, because that is for USB-C, as you can see right there. But you can probably also get them for, Android, and some Android phones probably also have USB-C these days. They do, I know. So go ahead and download the app, and you can go ahead and send out infrared signals and turn off your classic, prankster TVs. Your TVs for a prank, sorry. And basically, it's going to do the same thing as the Flipper Zero. Probably looks a little less suspicious because the Flipper Zero looks like something you hold in your hand, and people can see it's not a phone. With this particular device, you can go ahead and prank people for a long time. Whoopsie, it's not that bad, but I wouldn't. I'm actually waiting for one because I need stuff to have to showcase others. So we're gonna go back to the last two. Well, the last one actually is gonna be the M1 that I created a video for. The M1 is the multi-tool compact, and it got a high pledge so far. It's around $883,000, and many people, well, not many, but a few people think this is not real, but I guarantee you this is for real. And you can go ahead and I think everything is sold now, early birds, all the devices. So I actually bought one, the $109 one. It's gonna be the early bird, my selection. So I'm actually getting this in June or July, I think it is. And until then, we're gonna have to wait until they put all the devices together and they're gonna ship now to us. And of course, the last one is gonna be the Flipper Zero itself. So if you have any doubt about what you're gonna get, and you're like, I don't want to have a lot of things in my hand. I got this M5 unit, I have my crazy radio, I have my Deauth Watch, what else can I have in my hand, Also have my Wi-Fi antenna, I got everything going on. You can go ahead and Deauth everything in the world, and really that's it. There are a few units that I could mention, but I'm gonna leave this as a thing for you to go check out. Go and check out the Ponagotchi. It's like Tamagotchi, just Pwn, so Ponagotchi. I'm not gonna say too much right now, I'm gonna mention more of it, but I really hope that you got an idea about which kind of things there are for alternative for the Flipper Zero. And they're not that pricey, but if you're gonna get them all, probably gonna go ahead and get a Flipper Zero instead. But if you want something that is a little easier to use, you're just gonna prank something with turning on and off a TV, go ahead and buy this from AliExpress for $4 and a few dollars in shipments, and you're good to go, and you can prank people for a long time. From what I understand, most people that have a Flipper Zero, they like to prank people, not really using it for what it's really purposely created for, I would say. And many people, they to just live off the dream that it's a possibility that I can do. That's great, but the possibilities that you can do doesn't really mean that you are gonna do it or that you actually know how to do it. That's the difference between, you know, knowing what you're doing and then having the tools in your hands, not really knowing how to use them in a way that, you know, it's gonna be used for. But, you know, no worry, this channel is here for you, so I will of course create more videos in the future about how you can make the best out of your different kind of boards and units at home. And I'm gonna create more videos in the future, of course, about different kind of software groups in relation to hardware stuff. So I hope you got an idea what's the alternative for Flipper Zero. Gonna see you again next time. Have a really nice day. Woohoo!